Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. In this episode, I'll be doing an improvisation using SketchUp nodes and geometry nodes. So I'm just gonna delete everything first and quickly get started. So let's get SketchUp nodes and let's create something. Let's start with just a torus and Bmesh viewer. And let's output a torus donut and let's see. Let's make it tick like that. And we can make it smooth. All right, so we have this to work with, geometry nodes. I want to scatter something, but I want to scatter it using vector noise. So I will try to inject like an attribute values into geometry nodes, and I will be using color. So vertex color is actually something that you can use to transfer attributes. For now, like it's quite easy to do, and I will be using like just vector noise, and I'm just gonna transfer vertices into this vector noise. So we have vector noise now as a vector. However, we can then convert it into color. So we have a way to convert vector into color using SketchUp. So you can actually do this. Vector out. Oops. And you can try typing this like that. So now we should have a color. Okay, so this is the result that we get if we just pipe in like that. We can try HSV, try to get different result. Let's save this very quickly. This is a noise injection. Okay, so now let's see how we can transfer geometry nodes, transfer this value into geometry nodes very quickly. So this geometry nodes, and it should have vertex color. This is from SketchUp. We want to bring this in. And the way we can bring this in is, there are two ways. You can use attribute convert. You can use this because if we check with attribute spreadsheet, there's actually svcall data over here. So I believe we should, we have svcall. However, this is the one we want to use, attribute separate xyz, because this one is special, kind of special. We can separate svcall into svcall red, green, and blue. So this is supposed to work. Although you can see, however, the color RGB is becoming different value. So you need to be careful here. It doesn't translate. Oh, actually this one translates properly. Okay, that's no problem then. So we can use this and just simply distribute some object based on the svcall are red, green, or blue. Okay, cool. So let's try have our own like a cylinder using default cube. Create a geometry nodes, and because we have this mesh creator like cube, cylinder, I will be using cylinder now. So just disconnect this and replace it with cylinder, we want to have n-gon cap. We can do something fancy like using a subdivided smooth. And reduce the number, have control over the depth. So I think this is quite alright. You can try subdividing here. Yeah, you can have like some kind of cookie looking object. And let's actually use this and distribute it over here. So this is a cookie. Our cookie just instance cookie. Could be also like a hair because this is like a cylinder, and we can just pipe the vertices, the radius, and the depth. So this guy is becoming a cylinder generator. Okay, so I think it's pretty cool. So now we go back, we can hide this, go back to our alpha that has been injected using SphereChalk. We can actually play around here because the noise is already injected. You can play around with the noise. On top of that, with this donut, we can actually increase the resolutions. So there's a lot of potential here. By the way, with this donut itself, if we still want to check the vertices, the color, we can actually use it also this way. So with this vector noise, we can use just scalar and then plug the scalar into the hue, and we should have a different result altogether. Sometimes I like to have something like this. So let's go back and have a look. So this time our noise is slightly different. So let's use red, green, blue value here and just combine them together. So this is, as we call color, red, green, and blue. So we have all the color combinations. And for our instance cookie, we also want to have RGB. So red, creating new material. So blue. I accidentally create keyframe. This guy doesn't show the color. I think that's the side effects of this. So we need to always join geometry. Okay. It still have the default cube. So let's just go to edit mode, delete the default cube. Okay, now we have RGB. We can use it for our instance. Okay, our instance doesn't show color. Okay, it's showing color. We can use point scale. Quickly scale our object. So it's become like some kind of fur. There we go. So suddenly we have like a real-time fur generator. Okay, and this is actually live. So after you use this vector noise from Sverchok injected into the color, we have this noise that's acting kind of like a fur, which is pretty interesting. So I just created ambient occlusions, so it's looking a little bit more realistic. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is basically what it is I want to show you. You can play around with this, like further randomize the blue, the red, or just now I just scale it. The cool thing, of course, it's reacting to the vertex normal. And also on top of that, you can kind of play around with this, like saturation, etc. With the density here. What if we use Poisson disk? So if we have like a value, we assign the value into Poisson disk, and this value is for the density. What's going to happen? Let's randomize the seed. Increase the value here. Make this 0.1 or 0.05. It's a bit cleaner because with this Poisson disk, the density, it tries to not to touch each other. So now we have this result. So we can animate the texture. You can pick different noise, Voronoi, random cells, and then animate the X, Y, Z, or just the Z. We have like a forever changing texture. This is changing the vertex normal in real time. However, if you bake it as Alembic, I believe it should save the objects for each frames. So that's really kind of interesting. Let's try smaller value. Okay, so there you go. That's pretty much what I want to show you. Hopefully this is interesting. Let me know what you think, and maybe show me what you created with this. Oh, okay, seed must be between 0 and interesting. It's all right. Yeah, hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you created with this setup. But I think it can be used like a fur. It can be used with as anything else. Just this kind of setup that's where you can transfer a value from Sverchok into geometry nodes. I think this can be handy in the future. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.